Hey, everybody, Off the Mic Sports Network here. Another edition of Off the Top Rope. So we're heading to the end of the month of June. We'll have Raw on Monday night from Pittsburgh. It'll be interesting to see if Pat McAfee is back. But it's an early start time, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on Netflix. So that'll be interesting to see the viewership and how that comes about. But it's been announced some of the big pieces of what this show is going to entail, because this is really the start of the build to Saturday night's main event and obviously Evolution. And starting off the show, this has already been announced. Rhea Ripley is kicking off the show. And this has been met with, oh boy, here we go. It's probably going to be Rhea and Iyo at Evolution 2 in Atlanta for the Women's World Championship. And obviously, a lot of things have been thrown up in the air in terms of what Evolution was going to look like. We will never know what the initial plans were. The one thing that I can definitively tell you, based off the way television was being structured and what has been reported, it was very clear Iyo Sky, Liv Morgan was supposed to be the Women's World Championship match in Saudi Arabia, and then Liv Morgan was going to probably go into a feud with Nikki Bella. That has all been scrapped because, unfortunately, as we know, Liv Morgan, significant shoulder injury. She's had surgery since. She is probably gone for the rest of the year. And to be honest with you, I would not bring her back until the Royal Rumble. I would not bring her back until the Royal Rumble. That's just me. I would make her a surprise entrant in that match, and she'd get an enormous pop. It would be great for everybody. And I think it would be honestly good for her, because I think her popularity has been elevated to another level, which leads me into my next point. There is this hatred and this vitriol in the fan base for one Rhea Ripley, for mommy. And I've spoken glowingly about her for weeks, months, years, about her level of star power, that she has grown. And she had an interesting quote. Actually, she did a great interview with Chris Van Vliet, who I have a ton of respect for. Does some great interviews over on his YouTube channel. So they were talking about when Rhea got called up, which was during COVID. Vince McMahon had no idea if she was a babyface or a heel, and that led to a lot of confusing booking surrounding Rhea Ripley. And then Rhea turns heel right before Vince leaves, joins the Judgment Day, but it wasn't until after Vince left that Rhea's star power started to grow. And she really became mommy. She became, the eradicator. She became all of these different things, and really became a second, in a lot of ways. And some people may call this sacrilegious by me. She really became the second coming of China. And it's no coincidence that Triple H is booking her, because Triple H worked with China. I don't think we've ever seen somebody as physically imposing from a dominance perspective, and also from a beauty perspective. So just the appeal to males and females. We haven't seen that since China, like 25 years ago. And I don't understand the hate that Rhea gets, because she wins all the time. And she doesn't elevate people. First of all, both those things are not true. I'm not going to mention a certain other person in another company who claims to elevate wrestling. I mean, you guys can decipher what it is, but I'm not going to mention her name in this video. Who left this women's division in WWE and went to another place. Rhea Ripley, yeah, she won a lot, and she's not lost a ton. But let's not forget, Rhea Ripley, about 6 weeks before WrestleMania, was the Women's World Champion and lost to Iyo Sky out of nowhere. She hasn't been the women's champion since. Yes, has Iyo Sky not been booked very well? Sure. Was Rhea not booked very well as Women's World Champion? She was dominant, but she was carrying a lot of other things and being with the Judgment Day and all these other things. But it is inarguable that you cannot tell me without honest facts. And some Liv Morgan fans will disagree with me. Some Iyo Sky fans will. Iyo's been elevated. Bianca Belair, even just associating with Rhea, has somewhat been elevated. Liv Morgan is not nearly in the spot that she is in, without obviously some of her hard work. But that feud with Rhea Ripley took Liv to the stratosphere. It's amazing to me. And I know some people who are gonna kill me, because I rip some people in AEW because they claim that they're trying to elevate and try and raise the standard in that division, yet they've won 97 championships. Rhea, what? She's a two-time women's world champion? Two-time women's world champion. She held she's held the Raw women's champion. So what is she, like a 3-4 time? And then, like I said, there was no need for her to lose that match to Iyo Sky. And she lost. And then she lost at WrestleMania. Like, I just, man. Again, like, this is the same thing we go over with this fan base. A lot of the time in WWE is really never happy with anything. So if Rhea Ripley does indeed get the match with Iyo Sky, first of all, let's talk about that for a second. What other options did WWE have to go with for Iyo Sky at Evolution? They could have gone with Asuka, sure. And, a lot of people are mad that Jade Cargill won Queen of the Ring. So it could have been Asuka. Maybe they're saving that for another time. Could have been Stephanie Vaquer. The reality of the situation is Rhea Ripley creates some sort of unpredictability in that match with Iyo Sky because she hasn't beaten her. Iyo could beat her there. We could have some sort of fluky finish, and it leads into another match. Or Rhea could win. She's the champion again. And then we start building some other storylines around her. Because Stephanie, as much as I love Stephanie, you're not throwing her into a match against Iyo Sky right away. And I just don't think Stephanie's going to win a championship right away. And it sucks the spot that she is in because her counterpart, Julia, is on SmackDown and just won the Women's United States Championship. So, Iyo and Rhea is about as big as you can do right now. And Evolution, they want to make a big show. So I understand that. But this whole notion that Rhea is just like a detriment to the women's division is a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit. Everybody loved Liv Morgan, but we never thought of her as like, a star like she was until that feud with Rhea Ripley hit last year. And it wasn't perfect, but it definitely elevated Liv to the point where Liv's gone now. People want her back. And she's going to be a star when she comes back. She's going to be a massive babyface. It's just, man, I just don't think that people sometimes really understand how wrestling works. And then people on the other side of things in AEW will argue with me, well, this other person, I'm going to do everything I can to not mention her name because if I do, people will say that I'm obsessed. But winning 7 championships, that's what makes you over. Rhea has been over because she just oozes cool, okay? She oozes cool. She appeals to the men. She's physically imposing on women. And yet sometimes there's even sometimes a little bit of vulnerability that we have seen from her, from that whole thing with Liv Morgan. As goofy as it was with the Dominic Mysterio thing, it was a character thing. So why do you guys hate Rhea Ripley? I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. So, I mean, we'll see what happens going into Evolution. I know a lot of people aren't going to be happy either way because they're going to want somebody else to, get into something. There's rumors that there's going to be a battle royal there to determine who's going to end up facing a champion of their choosing at Clash in Paris. I think is the next premium live event that they're going to do because they're not going to do it for SummerSlam. Man, the hate surrounding Rhea Ripley just doesn't make any sense to me. So, anyways, I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.